That is the sound of beer bottles being gathered from across the country. And why? 3 words. Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to another episode of Trend Chat. I'm your host, Brian Bledsoe. And if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or Snapchat. It's all the same name, Trend Chat 24/7. That is at Trend Chat 24/7. Yeah, so there's been a lot of beer drinking going on over the past weekend, and like I said, we have reached the end of the saga that is Kavanaugh. So on Saturday, now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed by the Senate, 50 to 48. So it was very slim, but that was to be expected. But nevertheless, it's done, and that's the sound of beer bottles doesn't have to be from Republicans who are, celebrating. That's also can be from liberals who are, crying in their beer in disgust as well. They're drinking to forget about all the things they've tried to take them down, and, seeing that it didn't work. There could be just as drunk as far as it probably even worse than Republicans celebrating. They probably liberals probably, drink themselves into a stupor. I mean, especially as some I've seen that, you've seen from on social media, had some teacher basically putting out about killing Kavanaugh. I mean, I saw a story about a Google exec, which, kind of goes back to a couple of weeks ago when you had this video of Google execs being all distraught about the 2016 election. But you had another Google exec on Twitter basically damning all Republicans to hell. And the fact that he runs such a powerful, resource like Google, I'm pretty sure he'll never use that tool to stifle Republicans in any way. I mean, something that is right there at his fingertips. I'm sure he would never use that because he sounded so civil and so tolerant and open while he was saying, F you all to hell, talking about Republicans and being that upset about, Kavanaugh being confirmed and all. But yeah. Don't worry about that. Google, he has this amazing resource to influence millions, billions of people. And I'm sure he would not take his personal opinion and try to use Google to influence people, away from Republicans. He'll never do that. Even though from his tweets, he make it seem like the world is about to end. I mean, that sort of desperation wouldn't make someone, use something like Google to, maybe do a little something here and there to try to make, to whether to, like I said, to stifle or to maybe to try to, I guess you could say like a shadow ban or some sort of like that. I mean, no, they would never do that. I mean, because, yeah. Anyway, now one thing I'm glad that I don't have to talk much else about Kavanaugh. That's it now, because it's over. I'm guessing the next time we'll probably talk about Justice Kavanaugh will be for his first decision, whatever case that will be. I'm guessing that's probably be the next time, and just get an idea as far as how he's going to decide on these cases as a Supreme Court justice. But until then, I don't know, maybe it could be in a couple of weeks when the first decision, because they started in October 1st, so we'll see. So that being said, I know now that is over. People are still kind of trying to look at the Supreme Court and just wondering if maybe there will be another confirmation coming down the line. And it's funny because one, they had I guess you could say the public swearing in ceremony for Justice Kavanaugh yesterday, and I posted a picture of Clarence Thomas smiling, sitting right next to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, looking, pretty sad, or just, maybe her normal self. But I know a lot of people are always wanting to bring up about, well, Ginsburg next, she's going to be the next one to be replaced, which that could be the case. I mean, obviously, it's not surprising that's the one that everyone's looking at, because she's the oldest one. And also because she just looks frail. And so you kind of wonder, how long she's going to stay as a justice. That being said, I hope everyone realizes that, even though Ginsburg may be the oldest one, it's not like Justice Breyer and also Justice Thomas. It's not like those two are like spring chickens. They're pretty close in age. So they're not that far away from Ginsburg's age. So that could be a possibility with those two as well. So, and especially with Justice Thomas, I mean, look, especially if Trump wins, re-election in 2020, I mean, it would be kind of nice, maybe, I don't know, maybe to have a replacement there. That's if he wants to leave, but, as far as not like especially if Ginsburg leaves, in the next couple of years, or like I said, like Breyer, Justice Breyer, I think he is 80. So, so hey, there's a potential for a lot more Supreme Court justices could be replaced in the next couple of years. You never know. So, and I mean, that's just the truth, just going by age. So, but that's it. So that's it right now. So we're going on to the next issue, whatever that is. And then Taylor Swift jumped in all of a sudden. So Taylor Swift has, I guess, taken a side now, and she has finally, after years and years of not having any political opinion, has finally decided to say that she cannot support the Republican who was running for Senate, for the U.S. Senate, Marshall Blackburn, and she throws her support behind the Democrat. Oh, that's, how shocking. I can't believe someone in entertainment, someone in the media is supporting a Democrat. Oh, that's so shocking. I mean, I really don't understand what's the, everyone's just disgust. I would be more surprised if she were more like Kanye and just came out and supported Marshall Blackburn. I would be surprised by that. That would be the shocking part. Yeah. Okay. Another celebrity, another, elite, entertainer is supporting a Democrat. Big whoops. Shocker. Like I said, what the surprise here? I know it's disappointing for people especially her fans and people who are, are a fan of her music and everything. And like I said, she hasn't had any political, opinions about anything all this time. But still, even though the fact that she didn't have an opinion, I still kind of would suspect pretty much any person in entertainment, any person part of any actor, anybody that is involved in Hollywood or just TV, media, whatever. My default is that they probably are a liberal. That's just where I would suspect. I mean, mainly just going by the numbers, just looking at how many are supporting Democrats. So that it doesn't come as any shock to see another one coming out to support Democrats. So, like I said, the shocking one is seeing Kanye. And personally, I look, I don't have no idea what's going on with Kanye. I mean, he's wearing the MAGA hat and everything, and going on Saturday Night Live like we talked about before. And now he's going to have dinner with Trump at the White House. I don't know, was that today or tonight? I don't know, but it's that's the more shocking development from a celebrity than anything. But hey, I guess we'll see if her influence in Tennessee will, I guess, have some sort of effect in the U.S. Senate. So, and it will to especially the younger generation, more millennials will be pretty, could be pretty much, influenced from her endorsement of the Democrat in Tennessee. Speaking of that, we are in Tennessee. That's where we're broadcasting from. Something I don't do enough. I need to, in the intro, we are talking about from the highways of America, but yet I don't tell you where I'm at. I tend to forget, actually. I get to talking, the next thing I know, I've forgotten that I was supposed to mention that. But yeah, we're in Tennessee. And actually, that's why I was thinking about that in particular, because I'm looking at the signs that I'm driving, and I see the signs for Marsha Blackburn and and others as well, and also just thinking back as far as what's going on and hearing about Taylor Swift and whatnot. So that one thing I want to mention is, speaking of music, actually, I know last episode I mentioned in the beginning, in the intro, I guess you want to call it, I mentioned that I wish I had music licensing, I guess, to play like popular music, like Taylor Swift, even though I wouldn't play that, but not because of just what happened. I mean, I just wouldn't in general, because I think I had like one Taylor Swift song. Yeah, I think I had one Taylor Swift song on my iPod, and I don't even remember what that is. No, You Belong to Me. I remember. That's what's on my iPod. But like I said, I wish I had that so I can play like some music and to maybe in something relevant as far as what's going on to play in the background or whatever. But then I forgot that I actually have access to music in particular. But like Spreaker's partner as far as being able to provide music and just sound effects, Epidemic Sound, they have great music, and I just haven't really thought about using them. But that's going to change from now on, because now I just decided, I got to start playing some music. And so by me saying that, you're going to start hearing a little more, I don't know, I can't say eccentric. But it's going to be diverse, let's put it that way, because I do have a diverse sense of music taste. So you might hear a little bit, just a little bit. I ain't gonna be playing whole songs or nothing like that. I'm just gonna play like a little bit, for like I guess what they call like a ramp into the next segment or something like that. So actually, you're gonna hear something like that just in a couple of minutes, actually. Because before we get to some more news, also, if I have not mentioned, I forgot. I noticed I didn't mention this in the beginning. So we have Emily Cook with us for this episode. So we're going to talk about Texas Right to Life. She's the General Counsel for Texas Right to Life, and we're going to talk about the Gosnell movie. That's a real focus this week is the Gosnell movie because it premieres in theaters on Friday. So everyone that is listening, I encourage everyone to go out and see it. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to have an episode on Thursday, and I'll tell you who. If you've seen social media from Trent Chat, you already know who, but I'll mention it at the end. So, like I said, but before we get into all that, let's hear a word from my friends from the Founding Project, and then you will hear what I'm talking about as far as the music. So here we go.
Hello, Trend Chat listeners. If you like the Founding Project's Civics Education video series, Civics for All Ages, and our educational meme series, we think you will love our new website. Join us at thefoundingproject.com and be a part of the civics movement. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
Hey, what's up? This is Kaya Jones, and you're listening to me here at Trend Chat.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah. Crank it up, DJ. Well, no, actually don't crank it up. Turn it down. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. So we're going to have a lot more. I ain't gonna say a lot more. We're gonna have five or six songs or whatever like that just come in while I just like listen to it and just kind of cheer dance. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I was talking about. And it's funny also, hearing from Kaya Jones. Also just want to mention, Kaya Jones has a song out called Tonight, and it's available on just Amazon, iTunes, etc., all the digital platforms out there. Also, she has a video out now for Tonight, which I think it premiered today actually. So yeah, everybody check that out. So it's it actually just crossed my mind. It was something I was going to mention, but I kind of forgotten. But then I just played that. So yeah, but now if you heard last episode, I gave a prediction about the UFC fight with Khabib and Conor McGregor, and I am proud to say I predicted it right. I said that Khabib would win by submission, and that's exactly how he won. Now, no one could have predicted what happened afterwards when with Khabib jumping over the cage, over the octagon, and going out and attacking one of Conor McGregor's team, and that whole craziness that happened. And yeah, so I don't know what's gonna come out of that. And yeah, that was wild. But I'm not saying like because I was right about the finish of that fight, like I'm some sort of expert. It just came by watching some of the fights and just kind of see how how both of them kind of both of their styles, and it just kind of looked that way. Kind of felt like that's what how it was going to play out. So now, also this week, I mentioned last week, in the last episode, I mentioned about the movie Venom, and I actually went out to see Venom this weekend, and I must say it was not as bad as those critics made it seem. I remember saying in the last episode it was supposed to be like really bad, like it was supposedly, I guess what they say, Catwoman bad, but it wasn't that bad at all. Actually, I mean, I wouldn't give it a like it wasn't. If we're going by like Rotten Tomatoes score, so I wouldn't give it a 90, anything higher than a 90, but I also wouldn't give it a 30. So I would say it's probably about 70. I would say maybe 7 stars out of 10, or I'd say maybe 3.5 out of 5 stars or something like that. It was pretty good. I mean, there was some parts in the beginning that I felt like was the plot. Some parts of the plot were rushed in the beginning, actually, and some things to me seemed like they didn't really go together. But all in all, the movie as a whole was pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know. I think people maybe should really give it a shot. Now, the thing about it, even though the critics, for the most part hated it, it seemed like us normal people liked it because it made like 80 million. So I'm kind of glad people kind of ignored what the critics were saying and actually went to see it, because it was a pretty good movie. Like I said, I enjoyed it. So, it's just another one of those cases where the I guess you could say the normal people have a much different view than a lot of the elitists as far as when it comes to critics. That happens a lot, especially when we talk about any conservative film. And speaking of that, again, that Gosnell is in theaters on Friday, and I'm pretty sure even if whatever reviews that it gets from these, I would say it's probably 95% leftist critics out there, and I would not be surprised if it gets like a 0 Rotten Tomatoes score, and all these critics gonna just hate on it all day, as much as possible. So I would hope not, but that's what I'm expecting from them. That's hope they prove me wrong, actually. So, but now we had another, I guess, pretty fresh news, I guess you want to say, today, as I was putting together as far as what to talk about tonight. Well, as we record this tonight. So Nikki Haley resigned as the ambassador to the United Nations. That was today, actually, and that came out of nowhere. And but hey, I would say she's probably one of the few people who are leaving the administration on good terms, at least, or leaving without, I guess, with scandal, or basically being fired by President Trump. So she got that going for her. She came in, she did her job, and then she left, and everything went smooth. It was a very amicable break, I guess. I should have practiced saying that word before I try to say that live. But okay. But I came across something from somebody, I forgot who it was, but they were, I guess, trying to predict or trying to say that, okay, maybe Nikki Haley is, resigning to take over for Lindsey Graham in case Jeff Sessions get fired from being Attorney General. So Trump would fire Jeff Sessions and then appoint Lindsey Graham as Attorney General, and then for the open seat in South Carolina, Nikki Haley becomes the senator in South Carolina. I mean, I forgot who I saw that from. Now, even if all that happens, I guess for me, just to start off this whole ball rolling, for one, that means you would, President Trump would have to fire Jeff Sessions, which personally, I think Jeff Sessions doing a good job. I feel a lot of people who are, I guess, who are disappointed and especially who are like dogmatic as far as wanting to get Jeff Sessions fired, it seems like that they want Sessions to be like Trump's Eric Holder, like want Sessions to be like Eric Holder was to Obama as far as just basically just doing doing Obama's bidding and basically not really being an independent person outside of the administration. But I feel Jeff Sessions is doing what the job calls you to do, more so than what Eric Holder did. But I feel like, and it's funny because like when Eric Holder was doing all his dirt during the Obama administration, we as conservatives was all like, yeah, he needs to stop and need to put an end to this. And now that Jeff Sessions is in there, it seems like now they want him to do what Eric Holder was doing, and I don't agree with that. So that's why I say I feel like he's doing a pretty good job actually, but President Trump doesn't see it that way. So for one, so that could happen. I don't know if that's going to happen at all anyway, but yeah. So we'll see if any of that will happen. So like I said, we're going to get to our interview with Emily Cook right now. And before that, one thing I want to mention is that well, you know what? Actually, I'm not even going there because I don't want to take too much more time. I want to make sure we get everything in. But I just want to say I'm probably going to break in the middle of this, just because, and you'll know why when I do. So, without further ado, here is General Counsel for Texas Right to Life, Emily Cook. Hello, this is Trent Champ, and we are very pleased to have General Counsel for Texas Right to Life, Emily Kavanaugh Cook, with us. Now, I'm saying that because her name was Emily Kavanaugh. I didn't even know how to say it. I didn't know how to say it at that time. And as soon as I finally learned how to say her name, then she went and got married. And I'm going to say it because I want to make sure the world knows I can actually say your last name, your prior last name. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. That's hysterical. Thank you for having Texas Right to Life on.
So the reason why we want to bring you on is because we saw probably, I guess, a couple of weeks ago that Texas Right to Life, along with you and along with Legislative Director John Segal, was part of a movie called Reversing Roe. Is that correct?
Yes, a Netflix documentary.
Now, given that it's on Netflix, would I be correct in saying this is most likely, I'm guessing this is not a pro-life movie?
No, it's not.
Okay. So
it's pretty biased the other way. You think a documentary would be fair, both sides of the story, but it's very pro-abortion minded. But we were, and we get into that, but Texas Right to Life was glad to at least be able to attempt to bring the humanity of the unborn to and the horrendous what abortion really is, to participate in that process and try to give whatever voice we could to those precious babies.
So, well, given that this is a pro-abortion movie, how did you with Texas Right to Life get involved?
Well, I wouldn't, it wasn't pitched that way, for one, but, it was pitched as a neutral documentary. But I believe that now this happened in 2017, so it was during the legislative session. So it's been about over a year since we filmed our portion of the documentary, and I believe the Netflix producers had reached out to our media director at that time, and so reached out to our communications department, and that kind of got the ball rolling. But what happened was there was a film crew and interviewers who came, and I think they spent about 2 days with following Texas Right to Life, our lobbying team, around the Capitol during the last Texas legislative session. And so we did lots of interviews. They with them and talking about why we believe human rights attached to preborn children, what our message was as the leading pro-life organization in the Capitol in Texas, and how we interact with lawmakers, and we were able to spend a significant amount of time during the session to film what they needed and the questions that they posed to us, and all were pretty neutral, but we were anticipated. That's probably the other side of the story is how the documentary would end up reflecting, and it was. But we also took introduced the filmmakers, and they sat down and did interviews with some of our champions of the pro-life movement legislators, like our pro-life whip, State Representative Matt Rinaldi out of the Irving area, State Representative Briscoe Kane out of Deer Park, and I think Dr. Greg Bonin, State Representative out of I think it's Galveston area, south of Houston, that they sat down with and interviewed about their pro-life efforts during the legislature.
Now, while you were filming, did you suspect the bias during that time, or was it something that y'all noticed afterwards?
Well, no, we expected that's probably what would happen, and so, but we were just trying to, do the best that we could to bring the face of unborn children to the discussion, and that there's a second victim of abortion, and I myself, I think I was 6 months pregnant at that point, and so very visibly showing, walking around the Capitol, and I really hoped that out of all the frames that and film that we took, that there would be pictures of a pregnant pro-life lobbyist walking around the Capitol, because how much more fitting when we're talking about destruction of life in the womb than to visually see life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I mean that is obviously right there in your face. And have you seen the film?
I have not watched the entirety of the film.
Okay. Well, my next question was what was how much actually got into the film, and
I watched the segment. Yes. So a very small second. John Sego's question interviews made it in a few times, and so based upon the amount of time that we spent interviewing with the folks, the producers, a very small amount actually made it into the film. I haven't watched all of it because there are routinely showing women who are undergoing abortions tonight.
Oh wow! Oh really?
Just well, I think they're like in the waiting room and in different kind of situations like that, and I just haven't been able to do that yet.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Because I was wondering, like, given the fact that you were pregnant at the time while they were filming, I was just wondering, were they just like on like do like strategic angles where they try not to even show that because of that?
They did. There are frames of me where you can totally see that I was pregnant. It was funny when the documentary was officially released, and our group work text message for our legislative team, and John C. was like, "It's out," and I said, "Can you tell that I'm pregnant?" And his response was, "Absolutely." I was like, fantastic. That's great.
Now, full disclosure, I am a donor to Texas Right to Life, and I think it's a great organization, and I give as much as I can, and with much I can't say much joy because of what we're actually doing, but
Right.
I definitely want to support Texas Right to Life as much as possible because I really appreciate y'all work. And
well, thank you for partnering with us.
And one thing I want to ask is, what is Texas Right to Life up to for the midterms?
Great question. There was actually a special election that was just held for State Senate District 19, and it was part of Bexar County, part of San Antonio, and it comes in 17 or 19 counties in South Texas. And Texas Right to Life, we got our PAC under the direction of Luke Bowen, who's our political director. We were the first organization to jump on and endorse the Republican frontrunner, Pete Flores. And he was a game warden, retired game warden, who would run against the pro-abortion Democrats in 2016. But now, since that state senator, Carlos Fioresti, is headed to prison, his seat was up for a special election. And we did a lot of Hispanic outreach on the pro-life issue to boost Peter Flores' chances of victory. And his campaign, Matt McCoviac, himself, any pundits that you want to say, use that word, but agree that Texas Right to Life's early involvement in belief in Peter Flores and in that the pro-life message reaches Hispanic voters really caused other organizations to step up big for Mr. Flores and set the momentum. And it was unique. One thing I'm very proud that our organization did was we did a pro-life ad, a pro-life radio and digital ad, and in Spanish, and we didn't have to outsource for that. All of the Spanish-speaking parts were filmed in our studio at our office by our employees, by our Spanish-speaking employees, and it goes to the breadth of having young people through all demographics involved in the pro-life movement. And so expanding our Hispanic outreach to turnout under the pro-life message for Republicans during the midterm elections is something that we are heavily looking at and employing during the next month. And the second of all is making sure that Republican voters understand what those who may not historically vote in midterm elections know what's at stake. We cannot be complacent. Pro-life voters who are usually Republican cannot be complacent. They have to vote for the pro-life candidate. We're also making sure that voters in rural areas who, their county may be conservative, pro-life, and they know that's going to be the overwhelming. But if we can drive up the margins in these rural areas on conservative pro-life candidates like Ted Cruz, that is going to help offset the far left pro-abortion ideology that's going to expected to come out of the more urban counties. And so we always put out pro-life voter guides, which we will be doing again, and ensuring that like-minded folks actually get out to vote, and concentrating a lot in Dallas County because that's some toss-ups between House district races that we are concerned about getting those guys back into office.
Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat, also contributor at Politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at Politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. All right, now here I am going to break in right quick because as we were recording this, I found out afterwards that my mic was pretty bad. And for the rest of the interview, it's hard to hear me. And at this particular point, you can't hear me at all. So here's the context of her next answer, because it was on my end. Everything was fine with her. You can hear her perfectly fine. It's just my bad as far as my mic. So we're going to talk about the Gosnell movie, and I'm just going to ask her right now. I'm just asking her to give you like details as far as with the everything with the Gosnell case, and from this point on, we'll be talking about the Gosnell movie.
Well, everyone was shocked. It defies any sort of sense of decency when you learn that the abortion industry is so driven by profit and destruction, killing life at any cost, that they were willing to allow killing of babies who were born alive after a failed abortion attempt, and that they're rushed to defend these practices. And so that's what the Gosnell case was about, out of Pennsylvania, where this horrific I don't even want to call him a physician, because a physician is supposed to heal, and he took life. But there was, absolute filthy conditions, endangering women, killing women. I think he killed a couple women, and then was snipping the necks of babies after they were born alive. I mean, just defies conscience. And so when people realize that's something that the abortion industry is about, and when you allow destruction of human life, the killing of an innocent human life at one stage, logic extends to say, well, why not to a later stage? When folks look at that, they see just how wrong abortion is. And that was one of the reasons why Texas Right to Life spearheaded the passage of the dismemberment abortion ban. A dismemberment abortion is one that kills an unborn child through ripping his or her limbs apart one by one. It was a priority piece of legislation. It's inhumane, and it also drives the cultural conversations. People step back and say, whoa, if this is what abortion is, no, that's not what I thought it was. And it brings the humanity of the unborn child to light. And so, in response to making sure that stuff like that doesn't happen in Texas, we are able to. It was a tough road last session because the bill was never brought to the floor of the Texas House due to Speaker Joe Strauss and other Republicans who actually don't believe that passing pro-life legislation is a priority once they get to session. But we were able to tack that amendment on. Representative Stephanie Quick was able to tack that on her bill on as an amendment to another bill making its way through the legislature. And so we were able to outlaw that sort of abortion. And, it goes back to bringing the reality. Hopefully the movie will show folks, remind folks that we cannot be complacent in allowing this evil in our society.
Yeah, it's this is definitely not a feel good movie experience, but it's definitely an important movie to watch, especially if anyone that is listening, if you can get your get your pro-choice, pro-abortion, friends and family to watch this and understand what abortion really is, so. I really, I hope this, I hope I hope everything goes well. I hope it has a real good opening weekend, and just, we need more movies like this. Unfortunately, we need more movies like this because of what is going on, in our country. If they want to reach you or Texas Right to Life on social media, where do they go?
Absolutely. www.texasrighttolife.com. That is our homepage, our website, texasrighttolife.com, all spelled out. You can also visit our Facebook page, which is Texas Right to Life, and we're active on Twitter and Instagram as well. So you can find us across all social media platforms. And again, you can go to www.texasrighttolife.com to sign up for email updates, to get the latest news, hear what's happening in pro-life news across Texas.
All right. Emily Kavanaugh Cook, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Yep, and thanks to Emily for joining us. So, yeah, like I said, that at the end there, I had technical issues on my end as far as my microphone cutting out, but we got it through. So, anyway, that's it for this episode. I appreciate everyone listening, that have been listening all this time. And again, Gosnell movie comes out this Friday, October 12th. So in theater. So check it out. And so on Thursday, we will have Alfonso Rachel, who is one of the stars of Gosnell, will join us on Thursday. So we'll have him on, and we'll talk about not only Gosnell, but we'll talk about other things that he has going on. He has a new book, Solid Right Cross. We'll talk about that as well. So that'll be on Thursday. And so until Thursday, we'll chat with you later.